Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 5th of March. Markets are a bit down this morning, but the dollar's up. Let's have a quick look firstly at news events that may impact us today. We've got a looking through here, we've got the services and manufacturing data coming out. Which is the final data. These figures don't generally create much in the way of volatility because they come out pretty much in line. So whatever they were last time, there's no great expectation of any change. Any big changes there could create some volatility. The only one that potentially moves because of the amount of beans to count could be the ISM data for the US, but even that I've not monitored it, the final figure of much interest previously. Factory orders, that could be more of a factor, and that's coming out at the same time in the afternoon, so 3 o'clock, just to watch out for there. But otherwise it's a clear old day, but it does start getting a bit busier tomorrow, particularly. Tomorrow we've got the UK spring budget, we've got the Bank of Canada statement, we've got Fed Powell testifying on both days, that day and the next day, and then we've got ECB, etc. So we've got a busy week ahead, and non-farm payrolls, lots of stuff there that could cause movement, and it's quite serious movement when it gets out. But leading into that, it could be quietish. We'll see what's happening here on the technicals anyway. Looking at the euro dollar first, and it's come back up to its 50 MA here. This is now the third tap of the 50 MA. It looks, it might not have even caught it, but you've got to be careful because moving averages, they'll curl round afterwards and make it look like they've been caught. Anyway, we had this triple bottom yesterday, and I was looking at the price action thinking, well, this could actually, the way it was running, push up further. It doesn't take very long to sort of look at this and think, well, actually, maybe not, maybe yes, maybe no, and it's not clear, is it? It's not so clear. Now, of course, this is some early movement, early morning movement, and often we'll see something occur later in the morning as the morning progresses post 8 o'clock. We might get a complete reversal. We might find some support where it is into this 60-minute 50. It may head off further south, and it could all turn round and run up and break through. I mean, this was double top there effectively as well, so it's basically a range that it's sitting in, not necessarily a proper range as in a top bottom type. Didn't quite get up to the tops here on this movement here, but either way, it's a range. There's the previous high, there's the lows. The lows have held out, now the highs held out. So it's sitting there in a ranging area. Post 8 o'clock, if it was to get back up above the pivot, it would look more bullish, and maybe even for a day trade up to its R1, or back to the, well, it won't have enough, the time you put a stop on everything else, probably wouldn't have enough risk reward ratios on that. But the key thing, it could still change and move more positive. At the moment, it's in no man's land for me. The pound, it's put a pivot swing on dailies. A break of yesterday's highs would be positive, and could see us move further. When you look at the short time here, it's just coming back to its trend line now. Again, this morning, worth watching out to see if it finds support onto that trend line. Descending trend line, so it's not quite as powerful as a rising trend line or something that's flatter, but it'd be important to see if it does that, or maybe even dropping down into its 50 and 34 that's sitting a little bit lower. But it could well catch the bounce. I'm remaining sort of more on the bullish side of things. Yes, it's running to its prior highs and everything like this, but at some stage it might break out. For a day trade point of view, it might give us something if it starts turning back. US dollar yen started to catch something here, but generally it's still sitting in the range, and it's become very awkward to try and do anything with this. So let's not try and do anything with this, Right, let's get back. Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar's broken down. It's typical. It sort of runs through the Asian session here, and it's moved off quite quickly. But again, it could turn around. But I am bearish on this, so the sentiment, everything looks quite bearish. But it has moved off. It's catching a bit of a retrace as I'm talking here. 753. We could see something more. It's probably got oversold on a lot of indicators. It's switched down. I haven't got a lot of indicators on here that will tell me it's oversold actually, because I only got this on the oh, hang on, what was that? Yeah, if you use an RSI oversold, it's oversold there. So a bit oversold where it is, but I'm sure that there'll be plenty of other indicators showing this a bit oversold, so we get people buying into that. I'm still bearish though on it, so I'd be more looking for something that's a retrace as opposed to jumping on the other side. US dollar CAD, this remains weak. I am bearish on the CAD now. It's not far away from its prior highs here. We could start seeing something more significant pushing through here, higher lows coming through. We'll see how it goes on with that, but at the moment it's so close to those highs. I'd rather a breakout retrace and take it from there. It's this is where all the excitement might come. We might get a quick movement come through, but it's not setting for me at the moment. New Zealand dollar. This has gone a bit weaker looking on the technicals. Ironically, it's got more sentiment, bullish sentiment coming in from the big money, but there we are. So this is almost giving us a lower high on this on the dailies. Actually, it's a smidgen away from giving us lower highs. It's already given us a lower high here until last week with the news. We could be breaking down some more. Just looking, but again, coming into the new session, the new London session, we could see things reverse here. US dollar Swissy. Now this has been again pretty much going sideward. No, it's not of interest. Euro yen short term is retracing. The big trend is still to the upside, but we've just seen this yen move down. Again, this might develop into something as we go through the earlier part of the morning there. If we start seeing the next hour pushing up more positive, I could be looking for that as a on the long side. We'll see how it develops. So well, we're in the Euro CAD still, so I might as well look at the Euro CAD. That's still ticking along there with a weaker CAD. Even though the Euro's weak, it's not as weak as the CAD, and that's generally ticking along, not pushing too heavily. Looking for a lot more in that yet. Looking for the moon, of course, or all these highs would do. Somewhere around those highs. We'll see how we get on. We have got that little retrace on the 4 hourlies, which at some stage could give me an opportunity to move the stop, but not yet. Right, okay, that's pretty much it for now. I would carry on looking through the other cross pairs in the room come 8 o'clock, so sorry, 8:30. So if you want to join me, there's a link on YouTube. You can come and join on that. Let's have a look at the indices though quickly. We'll look at gold first. And gold yesterday continued pushing up there, slowed up where it is at the moment. It's probably again a bit overbought in a lot of indicators. It's double topped in the near term here. Whether that will pull off and get running into its daily pivot is a potential. I mean, I was looking for yesterday for the pivot to come into play. It never did it. It just sort of rallied up, and that was that. But that sort of did it from a little double top. It looks like it's doing a similar thing here, but holding up positive, but not something that I can trade. The price of oil slipped back a little bit there. it's messy where it sits at the moment. I haven't traded oil for a couple of weeks at least now, I think it is. Just not giving me decent setups. In my normal sort of 2 o'clock session, I'm sort of looking for something, but it's did actually put a pivot swing in there yesterday, but I have to confess I didn't even look at it yesterday because it's just been so grotty. But it might come back to its monthly pivot at some stage, and well, that might be a bit more interesting there. And the yearly pivot that's sitting there might be a bit more interesting. S&Ps, quick look at what's going on there. Bit of an off day yesterday. It's back off a bit at the moment. Again, I don't want to be buying these around the tops here, but if it got a decent retrace back to its monthly pivot, it could be interesting. Might get some support off of that. There is a 4-hourly pivot also, if you want to be a bit more aggressive. Potentially the weekly, I say 4-hour pivot, weekly pivot, beg pardon, and that could come in quite nicely. It come slightly short last week of it, but see if it can come down to that sort of level. Okay, and moving closer to home then, the DAX still, again, as I think I mentioned this last night, the swing session. To me, a retrace back to its monthly pivot would be good. It's into its weekly pivot at the moment, so if it starts taking off this morning, maybe it could be for you. It's starting to pick up. It's a bit early. It's only just coming into 8 o'clock, but it is picking up there. You can get some fickle old movements very early on, but I know a lot of people like trading it very early on. FTSE, daily wise, again, this is just still such a mess. I keep coming back to it and it starts looking like it's going to do something, and it's a mess. So yes, there might be some intraday trades to be had from this, but looking at those, yeah, there might have been some moves yesterday. It has broken its S1 here, hasn't touched the pivot. There is a chance if it starts sliding down, the S2 could be in play, but it's probably not got a lot of meat left on the bone, but there's some potential. Right, I'm leaving it there. I'm going to wish you a great day's trading on the YouTubers, and for the rest of you guys, I'll catch you in a moment in the morning.